Yo,
Yo,
I guess our intro didn't work. It froze up. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It
but it's
straight up
tough
froze
though.
up. Yeah, it was going down. You know,
I see that. I
yo,
see you. I see you.
yo, I don't know where it stopped on your end. I thought it was the internet on my end, but I
It
think it
start.
just
It
froze
start
up.
with. It start with you smiling.
Oh, so it went all the way through. So you saw you.
Nah, it stopped with you smiling and pause for probably a good 35, 40 seconds, and then the links, Heyward CPA, YouTube, blah blah blah, came in.
Oh, but there was a picture with you and Chris too.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
seen
saw
that.
it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So it ran. It just froze on my end. And then I was
Oh,
like,
okay,
what's going on? Yeah, that
okay.
was the whole thing. Yeah, so that shout out to whoever I had do that on Five.
Oh,
That's how
that's
we
tough.
coming in now.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
I never sent no edits in, but it's cool. So yeah, I figured, we start using some of our stuff we got. I got stuff
Hmm.
all over the place. And but what I don't have is my voice. But that's a long story too. But
Ladies and
anyway.
gentlemen, this is the Godfather. Godfather speak.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, remember, you want to be a friend of mine, be a friend. Let's remember, one day, if you need a favor from me, one day I'm going to come to you as a friend and I need something back from you. So that's how it's going down. So we back here.
Uh, yeah, we back here. Saturday 420. Where,
420.
where is the months going, man?
I know. I know. I know. It's wow. 420. So
4,
it's basically the end of April.
420, man.
Mm. I got the red cup, the show. Man, I should have had a green cup. That would have been better. But what can you do?
I got
So
my,
anyway,
my all together Vegas cup.
yeah, you got your mega cup right there.
You know
So
what I mean?
yeah, it's all good though. Me doing that. So here we are. I have to stay hydrated to try to keep my voice working. So I'm following you, man, because
Oh, you want to follow me? Okay,
yeah, my
no
voice.
problem. Well,
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah, I know.
Welcome. Wake up. How we doing? 420. Tax season deadline pressure is over, but tax season is not over, right? So, you know, for those that got their taxes done on time or did an extension, congratulations. But it doesn't end there.
Not at all.
Now that we know, or for those that should know, or for those that are learning, or for those that want to know, now that we know that we don't work to pay taxes, but we are taxed on every single thing. My question to you: what does your post-tax season planning look like?
Oh, you mean to them or to me?
No, to them. I said to
Oh,
them.
okay. Okay.
To them,
So,
right? What does your post-tax season planning look like? And this is a very interesting question because prior to the deadlines, prior to the final extension deadlines, there's a lot of mess. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of overzealousness. There's a lot of anxiety that gets created. Um, Relationships are actually ruined. Um,
wow. Wow.
yeah, only because no one wants to take the time to have a plan. Here, I'm gonna give you one even better. Since plan seems to be a very strong and long word, and it doesn't have no one can actually hold the word, the four-letter word in their hand. Plan.
Hmm.
We'll say if you want to speak with us, we'll give you a post tax season planning calendar.
No, now that's interesting.
And that calendar will consist of reviewing your financial health. What does that look like? How do we do that? Setting your goals. Tax planning, and I'm going to give you the floor here in a moment, my guy. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
take your time. I'm jacked up.
Tax planning from a professional cannot be done if you don't have a clear direction on where you're trying to go. Because you have tax planning that is short term, you have tax planning that is long term. And if you need direction, then you need to have a discovery call so someone can help you figure out what your direction is so you can create these goals. And then you get to the next phase. Because if doing taxes and tax planning was easy, there'll be no CPA firms
That do taxes. Yeah.
do taxes.
It would do something else.
Yeah,
We're never going anywhere, even though people
100%,
want us to.
100%, 100%, 100%. Create or adjust your budget. Why is that important? Well, inflation. Don't watch the news because the news is only going to tell you what the news wants to tell you. Go read some editorials about the markets because, especially for our business owners. And I say this because James and I have these conversations pretty much every day. And we have these conversations because we're always trying to improve our internal processes so we can protect the core value of the organization and the core value of our clients that are actually taking the work and the information and the time that we provide them seriously. So understanding, reading specific newsletters that are industry based. You have your internal industry, you have your external industry. So you have your domestic is internal, your external is international. So what happens over international waters does affect us domestically. Now, just because it's far away doesn't mean that it's not going to hit home, especially, and this goes for individuals too on an individual level, not just business owners. But again, business owners, we want to make sure that we're paying attention, right? It's very, very, very important. It's a hard lesson to learn. Take it from me, take it from us. This is all experience words that we're using right now. It's not something that we read in the book, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Funds. So everybody knows about fund savings, emergency funds, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, guess what? You don't really have to focus on that if you have everything else in order. That'll just kind of trickle over. My cup is full and it runneth over, right? So something that we all take advantage of because we think, oh, we have a little bit of leeway, so I don't have to, right? It doesn't work that way. Tighten up, tighten your belt. Debt management or money management. Being in debt is not a bad thing if you're leveraging it to get somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's all this is. Because you can't take, first of all, we can't take any of this with us when we go. So that's why if you use debt correctly and leverage it correctly, it can be everlasting. And it won't catch. The idea is to not let it catch up to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Right? Mm-hmm. Right? It's a cycle. Don't let it catch up to you. Don't even let it get close. It can stay in the background where it needs to be, but don't let it catch up to you, and then you have your forward thinking, right? That leads me into forecasting and projections. This right now, this month, this day, up until September, this is the time to tap in with us. We can provide you with some financial forecasting and projections. We can talk to you about some of your tabletop goals. This is that time, right?
Yeah.
And when we provide you with this information, Do due diligence. Do your research. Try some things. See what works. See what doesn't work, and then you adjust. It's
Mhm.
important. It's important. We're not having enough of these conversations. How many people right now hanging around with family and friends even have these kind of conversations? But we're going to talk about social media. We're going to talk about something on the news. We're going to talk about what we went and bought. We're going to talk about where we went on vacation. But we're not really having these types of conversations. And it's important because we're no man is an island, no woman is an island. So we have to share this information. We have to be able to work together. If we could work together, we can do some things different.
Yo, keep it going. Yo,
I'm just saying, like, and then review and adjust your investments.
oh,
Some of us are not in major investors, right? Again, speaking from experience, but where we going to spend our money? So there's a term called consultative. And for those who don't know what consultative means is I do business with people and places that do business with me. So if you're not a business owner, that's cool. If you go to a place, an establishment, and you're buying a product from a particular place and it's a public company, understand how you could buy some shares in that particular company as well, even at the lowest or the smallest increment,
yep, it's true.
right? But
I mean,
no one wants to tell us this. No one wants to tell us this. It's not out there for us to just. It's not anything. There's a lot of information out there, believe it or not. But then it's the time that you have to spend your time digging through that information and seeing what is actually true and how it applies to you, how it applies to your goals, how it applies to your family, how it applies to how you want to live your life. Right?
mm,
This today is the day of truth and reckoning. You
I
know,
see.
for those that don't have proper insurance, do we even understand what insurance is? Do we understand that we can use insurance and leverage some debt too?
Yeah,
We complain. We complain about. I always hear this, right? The rich, the rich, the rich, the rich, the rich, the people that's well off, the this, the this, the this. Listen, the first principle of this capitalistic place that we living in is not about your feelings. It's not about your emotions. It's
oh,
about how do,
snap.
how do we flip a dollar and how do we put that dollar into something to get $2 back. That's the world we live in. And if we do it honestly and we do it kindly and we do it in a loving way and respect for people, we can all eat. We can all be okay because there's enough out here.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that trickles over into long-term planning because it's going to happen. If you're doing your short term, it's going to trickle over. Then you say, oh, if I do this and I rinse and repeat here, so if I rinse and repeat here, I can rinse and repeat down there. You just may have to adjust slightly.
Yeah.
We're all boats on an ocean. You can't control the water. You just got to control the sails to know what direction you're going and look at your compass. What is your compass? What is your
Yo,
direction? Where's your north at? I'm just saying. I'm tightening my own belt every single day.
you see, I wore the right shirt today.
Yeah, I'm
This
tightening my
financial
own
flip
compass.
side.
I'm tightening my own compass every single day. Financial flip side. That's our game changer podcast, people.
Yeah, yeah. So
Our
you
game,
doing it right now. I'm
no
chilling.
doubt. Okay,
I'm chilling. Check
and
my
then
voice.
seek professional guidance.
Always that. Definitely.
Let me say this. I saw this TED talk about learning, right? And he presented something very very interesting. I learned this a long time ago, but I'm only bringing this up because it is a recent TED talk within the last 2 to 3 years, and it seems to be something that is very reiterative. When we learn something, we as people are very opinionated people. We're opinionated because of environment, because of culture, because society says we need to do this, this, that, and the third. So we put our opinions on something. When you're learning something, you have to push your opinions to the side to understand what that thing is, why that thing is, and how it works before you put your flavor on top. So when you're seeking professional guidance, you cannot go into a conversation opinionated about something you are not capable of doing, or because somebody told you something, or because you saw it on Google. Too many times somebody told me to do this. And here's the simple question. Well, why? I don't know. That's why I'm calling you. But this is how I want it done. Well, that doesn't make sense. Well, why doesn't it make sense? Well, why would it make sense? Share with me why it would make sense. Because guess what? I'm a student. I always want to learn. I don't know. The more I know, the more I realize I don't know anything.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? So as you seeking this guidance, have your notebook ready and have your pen ready. Better yet, have a pencil with an eraser so you can erase the thought that you thought was going to be what it is. So you got to think about that thought before you thought that thought, and go back and think about it before it's applied.
That's a lot of movement there. That's a lot of movement, man. Yo, man, you throwing it. Keep it moving. Hey,
I'm saying this is the data. This is not. I'm not giving you my opinion. None of this is opinionated. None of this is my opinion. I'm giving you my experience, what I learned, what I understand, what the data is telling me. Because I'm an individual. I'm a person. I'm a person, right? I have my personal life. I have my my business life and things of that nature. But the data that we collect, the people that we serve, tax, advisory, business development, you name it. The data shows that there's way, way too many people out of bounds. And if the statistics are coming back from these agencies in the 90s, high 90s for failure across the board on a lot of different things. Do you know 96% of people that go to get funding, they really it's two things, but it's one major thing that's wrong with their plan. Nobody can explain their organizational plan in terms of risk management. I ask people all the time, you got a business plan? I have an idea. I wrote something down. Yeah, it's on the shelf, right? Collecting dust. So guess what, folks? There's a business plan. There's a business plan model. There's an organizational plan. There's a financial plan. There's a scenario plan if you're selling products and services. How many different scenarios do you have? Who's your client? Who's not your client? Because you're always going to figure out who your current client is. That climate is going to change. You'll have some generality, but the climate changes as people grow, as people get older, as situations change, as families adjust, newborns, people leaving and moving on, so on and so forth. Things change. So these are the parts of the things as a business owner that we have to think about and have in place.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Couldn't have said it better. But I literally couldn't have said it better. But I mean, hey, I'm going to say one thing you said and everything, within everything you said, that I will pick up on. It's the emotional part. And I think many people I know a lot of people, most people have such an unhealthy, their emotional relationship with money is unhealthy. So it's just so when you have that type of relation, we'll call it toxic because that's a catchphrase here. When you have a toxic relationship with money, it makes you incapable of doing the things that you were just saying because you're reactive to money. You chasing it. One of my things about money is the more you chase it, the faster it runs away. They're chasing. They're not. There's not planning. There's not stepping back and having like okay, a level headed. You need to be level headed when you're making the plan, so that you can be able to implement that plan in your everyday life. That's business and personal. It doesn't make a difference. It's hard when people have emotions. People get the first emotion with money is usually fear. Is usually they're afraid. They're afraid of everything. Because financial literacy is not a not a core competency for a lot of people in society. People knowing how to spend money is core. Knowing how to save money, knowing how to maximize your savings, investments, forget about it. People, the term investment goes over people's heads. So you have all this stuff and it causes this anxiety and these problems. And people get scared. They get scared. So they never sit down and think about what they're doing because it's all emotional. And then the advertising environment we're in, it's always a case. The majority of messages we receive in a given day prompts you to spend money. Advertising is designed to do that. Now, even with social media, I make this joke all the time. No one goes on social media and says, yo, I got 10 cents right now. I'm just sitting in the house chilling because I don't have no money. That's it. No one posts that on social media. People will say, look at me. I'm over here doing this. Look at me. I'm over here doing that. Whatever. So that's just another prompt to you. Oh, look at them, man. I should be out doing this. Or man, I wish I could do that. But it may not be your reality. Heck, it may not be their reality, but you just picking up the message. So learning to save, invest, and to develop wealth, which is more than a catchphrase, is not, honestly, it's not great for the economy because the American economy is based on consumer spending. So they need people to spend money. We need people to spend money. Those of us that invest need people to spend money. You need people to spend money. But there's still enough avenues for people to invest. And just to take it into our business subjects, sometimes, not sometimes, you have to invest in the business too. Some people they choke all the money out the business. They take all the money out. They go, I got mine, it's good. And we're going to keep the business at the status quo. Then if something happens, there's no money in the business, but you took some wonderful trips last year. It's outstanding. You got a great house, but now the vehicle for your income is suffering. So, that's very good. I think you should have a webinar on the subjects you just mentioned. That'd be very interesting. Good. Get Dove in there, you know what I'm saying?
I'll put that together.
Yeah. Maybe we do that. One of our episodes, we have a seminar. We do that. Yeah. That's what we do.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan. We start
that's sometime for me. Yeah. So after your birthday. So then we do that. Because, I think that the topic is around the fear of money. People are afraid of money. They absolutely afraid.
Because we were taught that money is evil, and money is not evil.
No, it's just the people.
And it turns into exactly right. It's a weapon in most cases, right?
Yeah. But money's a tool. Money is just a tool. That's all it is. I mean,
And
when
for
you can,
and
I'll go
for our
ahead.
young people, man, let me tell you something. There's certain things our parents can't even begin to tell us. They give us a lot of principles growing up. There's some things they just don't know that they need to preempt us to. And so
Yeah,
if you're not taking heed to what they're giving you, the seeds that they're planting in you, by the time you make it to higher age levels, your thinking is automatically going to change. And your world becomes a little more clearer to things and thinking that you probably never even needed to touch or
oh,
involve yourself.
absolutely.
And so I say this especially for our young people: be mindful of your steps. You know, making rash decisions. You know, sometimes you got to take a risk here. Some people are real optimistic. Some people are adventurous. Some people are bright lights. And that's okay too. I would say make sure that is building a team of people, especially mentors and professionals, um, as early as you can, because that's important. And you build a team of people that care about you, not care for you to see you win, because some people that want to see you win, they'll be on the bus with you as long as you're winning. The moment your bus break down, they off onto another bus. So you have to be mindful of that, right?
Hmm.
Trust but verify.
Absolutely.
And trust yourself to recognize when people are actually being themselves in the good nature or the bad nature. But you need a
Hmm.
team, and you need to you got to slow it down. Like James said, we never really realize when we chasing money, but we chasing money because we got to pay this bill, we got to do this, we got to do that. Enough of the chasing. If we focus on proper planning and implementation and consistent execution, we don't have to work that hard, and the money will come to us. But it's consistent work. It doesn't have to be overtly hard. It's just consistent work, you know.
Yep. Hmm.
And it's like driving. You can't get in the car, put your foot on the pedal. You got 8 hours to go. You're gonna put your foot on the pedal for 100 miles an hour. You're gonna run into a lot of problems.
And a
And
lot of
that's what
cars,
yeah, police tickets.
all types of
You're
stuff.
gonna
Yeah.
kill the gas. You're gonna open up your valves. You gotta get a oil change at 500 miles instead of 3,500 miles or whatever the number
Yeah.
is, right? So just maintaining a proactive approach is I'm giving. This is my advice. This is my advice. This is my suggestion. This is my voice. You may not get it as intense as I'm giving it now, because I'm not big on telling people what they need to be doing. I'm gonna give you the information and show you, and it's upon you, and I'll motivate you too, because I'm a motivator like that, right? But it's upon you to grab that bull by the horns and ride the wave, because it ain't getting no easier out here. None.
Absolutely not. But
I
I mean,
yield.
but you yield your time. So look, on that point, younger people, not so younger people, wherever you consider yourself, it's one thing I would tell everybody to understand, and it's the concept of compounding in mathematics. Compound interest, compound gains, whatever you want. So everybody out here will, on these interwebs, will sit around and talk to you about generational wealth, how to get wealth in 30 days and all that. But there's some simple math out here that will jumpstart all that, and has to happen. Compound interest, you look at compound interest, you'll see it. You don't have to be a big time mathematician, but everybody that deals with money should learn that the what compound interest is and the power in it. So take Mr. Franklin's example. I was a dodo bird because my father did tell me when I was in my early 20s to buy these mutual funds. I'm getting the deets from TIA Craft. So at the time you had to buy, I think $25 per fund, whatever. I had $50 a month that I had in it. This at this point is like over 30 years ago. $50 a month, $600 a year. Now, mind you, in 1994, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I mean, it had to be like, I mean, it was in the thousands, 2,000, something like that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, to be sure, it's like $30,000 now. It's something ridiculous. It has gone up immensely. So had I continued to put $600, and as I work more, put more in there, I would be loaded right now without doing anything but paying $50 a month. I would have to do nothing. $50 a month consistently for 30 years. How much money I would have, I don't know. I probably would have tapped it by now for something. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got married a couple of times and bought a house, but that's not the point. The point is $50 a month. But of course, I took the money because I needed it to pay something. $50 a month for all these years. You can't beat time. And asset accumulation is about time. So, you don't have to be a master genius either. As long as our economics, our economic system is what it is. You don't have to be super smart. You don't have to be super lucky. You have to be consistent, and you have to be able to say, man, okay, where am I gonna find $50 every month? Put that in there, $600 a year. So just for instance, the stock market gets you 8% on a low year. It's like 8%. That's what people say. You make 8%. This is crazy, silly math, but it is basically so 8%. I ain't got time for that. Let's say 10%, just so I could do this in my head real quick. but I mean, I could do the 8%. 8 9 6 is 48. So 8% been $48. So that first year is 600. You would have roughly had 648, 650 at the end of the year. I did nothing. Okay, now the 650, that goes another 8%. And so what's happening, and this is without major spikes in the stock market and major dips too. So if I'm putting this in consistently over years, I mean, 30 years of $600 is like 18 grand or something. But that's I probably would have had like 100 and some thousand or more because the stock market soared so much, and there's a chance I would have started putting more than $50 a month. I might start putting 100 as I was making more money. But listen, you can be, if you 20, you could be like 45 when you 50. You conceivably could have like $1 million, and you didn't do anything outside your job. And I'm not talking about your retirement, the 401k, because you can't get that money. When you put money in 401ks and 403bs and IRAs and you're 24 and whatever, it ain't your money for like 30 years. It's over there. It's for later you. It's not for younger you. It's for later you. And because you can get it, but it's gonna cost you so much money. The tax hit from it is gonna be like, darn, should put in it. Yeah, what I'm saying with your after-tax money is an option, because we're not giving advice. I'm just saying, look at it. But if you could put $50, $20, $25, whatever, put it aside, put it in the stock market if you choose, or if you want to put it in the bank, that's fine. But the concept of interest, compound interest, Is that like what I said? Now the 650 that goes up 8%, so it's 8% of 650. Then it keeps going up. That's how you build wealth. That's how these people, like all these wealthy people, everybody. Part of our culture is blow up culture. The only way we know anybody gets some money, they blew up, and that's part of the issue. Yeah, they went from rags to riches. But people that consistently save money or invested, and more importantly, invested money, they're the ones that and you wake up, you're like, oh my goodness, I have this in there. Oh my goodness, I have that in there. So I started getting back on the train later in life with smaller dollar amounts because I got other responsibilities. And then I got a little something here, a little something there. And I'm like, oh wow, I got this. So now, part of it for me, the way I do the system is if I want something, like the things I want to cheat anyway. I want something, I got it in that stash. It's not in my operation. It's over there. It's like, I want to go get that sweatshirt. All right, boom. If I had to sell stock for it, I sell a share and go get it. So, but had I done that $50, oh man, you understand? Man, look, I would be I would be another spot potentially.
Right.
Potentially. And so that's why young people start. Hey, old people start. You don't know how long you're gonna live. Start. Put some money away. Work with an advisor, even whatever, to get an idea. I'm not gonna tell you what to buy. I'm not gonna tell you, but staying out of the engine of our economy, is crazy. Some people say, well, I don't trust the stock market, but you trust somebody that come around and tell you, if you give me 100, I'll give you 10,000 back next week. You'll believe that, but you don't trust the stock market. Okay, that's right. Bet. But I'm trying to tell you, there's mechanisms. That's how people do it. Who is it? One of our advisor friends. He told me, he said, the challenge our community has is even when we save money, we save it, but other communities invest it. And some of that is investing in their own community. Yeah. They'll invest in a business, somebody they know, they invest in a business. So you got the stock market, you got to invest in there. You can get CDs. You got all these instruments that you get, tax-free bonds. You have all these different instruments that are out there. And what happens is the money in the communities, they don't stay in the community. They go outside the community. So, when we ain't breaking bread, people, and so it's cash poor because we buy stuff. We like stuff,
$1 trillion of stuff.
Yeah, we want stuff. If you ain't got stuff or you don't go to the most high end situation, then you ain't got no money. But it's the contrast. I don't do none of that. I got bread, and that's, I don't advertise it. You don't know that, like, some people, I'm not saying I ain't got no bread, but I'm just saying in theory, like that. So the theme of everything you laid out so far, which I do think this could be a great webinar, is those emotions about money and being practical. So, and the big one, the big word, discipline. Financial management takes discipline. Sorry to break it to you. You could go all the way around the world, whatever you want to do. But where people suffer is the discipline it takes in dealing with financial issues. Takes this. You go listen to anybody. Neil Bortz, what's the girl? Suze Orman, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever tells you something.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You have to have the discipline to follow what they're saying. This stuff is not going to happen just because you want it to happen.
Right.
It sounds so good. Well, we'll live on one salary in the house and put all the money with it. Yeah, okay. Nice plan. So how does that something gonna give? I mean, unless you balling out. I mean, some people are balling out, but the majority of people are not. That was a statistic that I got. My father we were talking about it, and he said, they did some survey, and they were like 60% of Americans don't have $400 in the bank. And I totally believe that. But so think about that. These polls are all subjective, but think about that. There's someone that probably got everything. They look like they loaded, and they might not even have $400 in their bank account, but they got everything. They got the car, they got the crib, they always doing something, clothes and all that, but they have no money in the bank. No money in the bank. And in fact, what's a real telltale sign about that? Well, we know from doing taxes, if there's interest income, which you're not getting much interest in certain places, but any interest income or any dividend income. So you could look at someone that has a high earning, but if they're not getting any passive income, that means they don't have any money stored nowhere. Because what people will do is they'll go, oh, what's in my retirement? Okay. Oh, and I'd also like to throw a news flash in for those of us that are now middle-aged. The chances you retiring at 62 diminish every day. Inflation is causing that, because the money that you have in your 401k or what have you, and because we have longer life expectancy than when these retirement laws were coming out. If you retire at 62, you might live to 90s. You got 28 years. 28 years you got to finance now. You're not going to work no more. You're like, I'm not working anymore. I'm living off this money as a retirement. Now you're going to pay attention to the stock market for real now. Because if it's one dip in the middle of your situation, that takes a lot of value out of it, like what happened in '08, and you like 65, and you like, yo, I lost like 200,000. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So you gotta constantly find ways to make money. That's the thing. If anybody asks me, I say those of us, Generation X, I guess, we're starting. The safety nets, the Medicare, Social Security. A lot of that Social Security gonna be like beer money by the time we get it. Yeah, you would be like, yo, I'm supposed to do with this. Yeah, well, let's go get a 6-pack because that's all I can pay for with this thing. Like, it is serious to me. I'm just wondering. I'm like, am I the only person that's thinking like this? Like, I'm like, wait a minute. We've had this inflation blitz. So my thing is like, what makes me think that the next time it happens, it'll be less than this time?
Right. It won't.
Yeah. So inflation goes up to 12% next time because of whatever happens in the world in a decade, 12 years, something like that. Man, what we gonna do? What's the play? Like what I got going on? And then you stop working and you got a single source, which is your retirement plan. And you don't have anything hedged with life insurance, all this other stuff, because there are other vehicles, as you mentioned, but I'm not getting into that because we got people that are experts in the vehicles. I'm just talking about a general concept of money. And you can't be super emotional when you think about these things, because you have to say, oh, not only that, by the way, at 62 or whatever, especially if you've been working all these years and you feel like you didn't get to do the stuff you wanted to do, what are you going to do? You're going to travel. You're going to do everything that you didn't get a chance to do. So 62, because most of us do what we're doing here, sit behind computers. Your body, I mean, you may not be in the best of shape, but it's not like people that did manual labor when they made these laws.
Right.
Like, your body gonna be there. You're gonna be like, what you gonna want to do? Oh, I'm gonna go on this cruise. I'm gonna do that. I'm retired. I do what I want. I do all that. then you end up working to Walmart after being retired for 10 years.
Hey, yo,
You
check
stop
this out,
making
right?
money.
Check this out, right? The the National Financial Capability Study that was conducted by FINRA,
Hmm.
Education Foundation. Look that up, people.
Yeah,
States 63% of people couldn't pass the basic financial literacy quiz consisting of 3 questions on inflation, interest compounding, and risk diversification.
yeah.
To your point,
I mean, yeah. That's what we're saying. So, okay,
63%, bro. That's a lot.
that's a lot. Yeah, yeah. And that's a lot. That's a lot of people. And
That's a
so,
lot. It
and then if you break it down by different demographics, the percentage probably goes up.
goes higher, yeah, correct.
No, definitely. We might be talking 80%.
Or 90 even, because I'm sure, again with the segmentation of classes and race, there's a
Yeah,
good portion of people that didn't even get a chance to take that test.
yeah. So they have no clue. So what it does is that it's important for individuals such as ourselves to know and share this information. And to see, I'm willing. I've turned over another new leaf. And what I've recognized is that my job in this thing, and I've said it before, I'm not here to make you feel comfortable about your money, your business. And I don't mean like I'm not a hater. What I'm trying to say is that I'm going to tell you the real as I know it. And when I talk to people and advise them, I act as if I'm advising myself. Because I want to see people be happy. But some of this stuff, you have got to face it. I say a lot of people, they put their head in the sand. I don't want to deal with that. Then you think you go to a practitioner, listen, accountant, lawyer, financial advisor, financial planner, any of them. You think you go to them and then you give up your responsibility for the stuff. No, it's your responsibility. It's your tax return, it's your bank account, it's your investment account. Quite frankly, it's your life. So if you go into somebody and saying, "Oh, well, that's what you do. I don't do that." You can't do that. We cannot be doing this, man. Especially if the AI grows the way that every year. It's from like 2000, Y2K. Every year is something, some technology is going, I don't know, dominate and take over the whole world and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the world's already been taken over by television. But all right,
Mm-hmm.
fine. So, but let us assume that we have robots doing all your financial work. Guess what robots don't have? They have no feelings.
Correct.
They will have zero feelings.
Correct.
So, you know, it's going to be based on calculations and stuff like that. So you have to temper your feelings, because if you were dealing with the robot's not going to care. The robot's going to be like, this, you must do this, and so on and so forth, and blah, 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 blah. And that's what it is. So my suggestion to people, and be honest about it. Here's the problem in America is that your income is a character trait. So it's like, if someone doesn't have a lot of money, and this is a subconscious thing. If someone doesn't have a lot of money, it's like a mark. Like it's almost like, what's wrong with you? You don't have enough
Right.
money. Like
Right.
that. So, and then if somebody does have a lot of money, they might get credited. They might be a terrible person, but when they got a lot of money, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's a
Mm-hmm.
major problem. That's part of the emotional part too. And we
Mm-hmm.
feel like we supposed to. So it's almost like if you don't make a certain amount of money, you haven't either
You
you
don't
haven't
deserve
done
it.
it.
Yeah, or you don't deserve a certain level of respect either.
Yeah. And we internalize it. It ain't
Yeah,
so I mean, we really internalize, like all of us, like we part of that until you
yeah,
decide, like, yo, nah, I don't subscribe to that. So
right.
that's the emotional part. Like, being broke. Listen, man, everybody, I don't know. People I know are broke every now and then. Sometimes it's more now than then, but hey, it happens. But your character is not determined by the amount of money you have.
Nah, it's
And
definitely
so,
not.
so it's all deciding what you value and what you say, look, I ain't on it like that. Yeah, I want to, as we come to, I'll just tell you my style, my philosophy on it is this. Do I like making money? Yes. But am I willing to do anything for money? Absolutely not. That's obvious. I'm not trying to do that. There's a specific way that I want to earn money. And sometimes I feel like I'm beating my head against a wall, but that's okay. But I have learned, because listen, I was all about bread. I did all that. But I've learned that's where I come with that the harder you focus on money and trying to get it, the harder it is to obtain. Because you start doing things for the money. And it don't necessarily mean that we get these stories where people sell out and with the now the shake up in the how they shaking up and proving that the 90s were all a lie and all that's going on in the music industry and the entertainment industry. Clearly, it's like people do anything for money and fame. I don't mean that. Doing anything for money could be sticking at a job 5 years longer than you should because you don't, and it's killing you. You know what I'm saying? Stressing you out, whatever. You stay at the job 5 years because you're unsure that you could get revenue or get another job or something like that. And some people have to do it. I get it, but do believe that you are doing something for the money. Because if you don't like the job, it's not doing, your health isn't good. Your relationships, you might be paying the bills, but your relationships might be suffering. You sticking there for the money. That's what the last job I had, which I've said it over and over. I'm a terrible employee, but I told my boss, I said, I don't like the job, but I like the paycheck. I told him straight up, I don't like this job. It sucks. I like the paycheck. That's it. So I guess I've been brutally honest for a long time, but I always knew I was supposed to have my own thing, so I didn't care about the job, man. So but having that honesty, which I happen to have, I have financial honesty. It's real. I know there's some terrible people there's some non-intelligent people with a whole lot of money, but they can't outthink my red cup. And there's some really great people, and not even to use great, but there's some people that are phenomenal, great thinkers, great talented, something like that. And they trying to, they survive. But you know what? Some of them are happier than the people sitting on all this money and can't stand their life.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes to you prioritizing what's important to you. And that's for our next episode. Where we bring in a psychiatrist. Like, talk about it. The relationship, man. You done started this. You knew you started it. That's why you over there cheesing, because you got me started. So now you on something else, but it's true. I think is, it been like, you know what I'm saying, from the leads we get. And this is something, at our reunion last week, I asked a couple of people. I happened to go to school with some very successful people. Very, very successful. I just got to the point where I didn't have a what you call it? I wasn't self-conscious, like feel like I was an underachiever around them. Like, so I'm too old for that now. I'm like, it is what it is. But they're very successful people. And I didn't get to talk to many of them, but my main thing, and if any of y'all see it, y'all know who you are. I asked the question. Me and my mans was asking, like, are you happy? You know what I'm saying? Because like the attainment is there, it's obvious.
Right.
You're
Right.
there. But darn,
Right.
how many people get asked, are you happy?
Right.
Like, you be loaded, but are you happy? Are you all right? We run around here, we talking about this mental health stuff like that. Money don't erase that.
Nope.
They don't do that. So it's like, man, are you happy? Just to put that for somebody to even think about it. Like, are you happy, man? Like that. And I mean happy. I don't mean like, yeah, I'm good. Just like where you could sit by yourself and be like, man, I'm good.
I'm
You know what I'm
great.
saying? Like, yeah, like
Great.
I'm good. Like, I got
Yeah.
I got $50. I'm good, man. It's nothing. To me, that's the most important currency in the world. Your happiness. And next to independence. But we'll get into that. That's a whole nother thing. But that's what I'm saying. But that's where the emotional part of money, what makes it so difficult when you talk to the leads, it's this manic thing about being in business. It's so,
Uptight.
people, yeah, the part of the reason is because we have this mythos of the average business fails in the first 3 to 5 years. I mean, when you go to school, I'm sure there's similar statistics. They don't start in kindergarten and say, yo, about you got a class of 40. Yeah, well, 15 of y'all ain't even gonna finish
Right.
high school. Like, y'all, I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna finish. But I want you to
Right.
keep coming back for the next 12 years
Mm-hmm.
or 10. You might get to the 10th grade, but you're not gonna finish. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we start with this thing, and you know what I thought about that's about. I think people gravitate to that to justify the struggle of starting a business.
Correct.
So it's almost like, well, and even if like, well, we survived through the first year, the average business fails in 2 to 5 years. So we got some justification for whatever is a protection or something like that. I think that is like the most silliest thing to do to harp on the 3 out of 5 that didn't make it. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's a fact. I mean, it's just a fact. I don't say, but why would you harp on that? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna call that. I just came to me now. I call that excuse funding.
yeah, an excuse for doing, yeah, yeah,
Funding.
yeah,
Funding. Funding an excuse.
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, I just don't, I believe it statistically, but I don't believe it in someone trying to start a business. Like, you should even have that in your brain
Right.
because that's
Well,
against
I
burning
mean,
the boat.
and yeah. Well, again, this is why it goes back to making sure that you slow down, you write some things down, because an idea is an idea, a thought is a thought, and
Hmm.
it has to be placed in order for it to come to fruition, and then you got to be able to execute on it. But that's why it's important to get a proper bearing of yourself, and then find the build your team, find those people that can give you the proper guidance. You got to get over yourself, you got to get off your soapbox in most cases, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But find the people, because there are people out here that want to help, there are people out here that are willing to help. Believe it or not, people will help put you in position, especially if they see that you might be a benefit to them, or that they could benefit you. People don't have a problem with sharing information and sharing resources. It's just the intent behind, the what and why people do things, right?
yeah,
So, no one's born with this knowledge and this courage. I think it takes courage. So you have to build your courage. No one's
yeah,
born with that stuff. It can be developed at any particular age. But I
yeah. It's
think that
never too late.
we
Yeah,
gotta just lock in.
yeah.
We got to lock in, man. We can't. We just got to lock in. That's all.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, with that scene, we at the top of the hour. Top of the hour, we got it going. That was pretty interesting. So I think we can sign off with you telling them what you can teach them to do through that mechanism that is biz therapy. Because
This
that's what we
therapy.
just had. We just had a
This
biz
therapy.
therapy marketing session,
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
marketing
yeah,
meeting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Come on over to Biz Therapy. We'll help you flush out. You know, it's a platform where we have these type of conversations. Tell us what's on your mind, what's on your thoughts, what are your challenges, what's keeping you up at night, what's going to help you improve yourself, and what's going to not help you improve if you don't take action or don't implement a discipline, right? We help people, you know, we're trying to help our clients focus on winning at business. So what does winning mean? It's small wins. It's not a huge win. We're not here to help you get huge wins. We're here to help you build small wins because the small wins are encouraging. It helps build
Exactly.
confidence. It helps build your self-esteem. And then you're off to the races and don't need us. You need the next level or somebody else or this, that, and the third. But it's all in consequence. It's all consequential. It's all in correspondence. It's all in a sequence, right? So yeah, biztherapy.info. You can go to biztherapy.info, schedule a complimentary, if you want me to use that word, consultation. Let's talk through it. You know, we got stages of business planning, we got stages of business model planning, we got stages of organizational planning, financial planning, scenario planning, coaching, tax planning, accounting software implementation and guidance and etc. So you can catch us there. You can catch us on HeywardCPA.com. Doesn't matter. We have these channels. We have
Yeah, we
multiple
got a lot of
channels.
channels.
Ping us on underneath YouTube. Ping us on this, but to and go to our form. Follow the process.
That's it.
Schedule a call, and you know we let's see how we can help.
Absolutely. And so, just to add to that, the what makes this therapy unique is that we tie all those things that Kory mentioned to, even in our accounting, we tie it to the human element, to the human behind it, because it's easy to get caught up in concepts and theories and models and stuff like that. But there is an element that you, as the owner, have to do this. So the things have to be aligned in line with you, the individual. Um, and we all don't execute the same way. So many times when you get advice from people, it's drawn from their personal experience, which is good, but it has to be married to the person that I'm speaking to, because certain things, hey, you may not do that. Okay, you may not, me, you may not be a rainmaker type person. You like super good at what you do. You do something like that. Well, how are we going to handle the rainmaking aspect? Do you need somebody, or is there something? And this is where entrepreneurship is really exciting. How do we solve that? I'm not a rainmaker, but I got to make it rain somehow. So do I just use the internet? Do I do, I'm just talking, but that's where this therapy came from, is that the human element of starting and running a business is often overlooked. It's just there. The times where you feel like it's not going well. It might happen more often than one, not. But guess what? You got to keep going. You can't, you know. So what? That's the difference. When you got a job, you can call in sick, or you could go to work. We've all had them days where you went to work and you went in when you got there and knew you weren't going to do no work for the day, but you were there. And then
Trying to
you
get that
talking to your
check.
coworkers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you watching the clock. Oh, it's lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
You like, boom,
Right.
come back from lunch. Yeah, I probably could get out of here at 4. So you do that. You tinker around with your emails for a minute. You
Right.
go
Right.
in.
Right.
You,
Right.
you hope they have a meeting where you don't have to say nothing.
Right.
4 o'clock, I gotta go. Either I gotta go pick up somebody. Blah 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 blah. Everybody that's had a job has had at least one day where they was like, I ain't doing the other day. Like I just, it ain't going down. But when it's yours, You can have that. You can have a whole week like that. But guess what? You gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, learning, and I think biz therapy helps folks learn to understand that and to overcome circumstances. Your circumstances aren't your definitive outcomes. And
Yeah.
in circumstances, it's almost like boot camp in a sense. Like being an entrepreneur is boot camp. Living life is boot camp. But when when you decide to be an entrepreneur, you're going to realize circumstances no longer can be an excuse, and you build a muscle to actually strengthen your will to get over circumstantial situations that helps you improve and helps you towards your vision and mission. And so
Yeah.
biz therapy just lends itself that platform to develop that muscle, right?
Absolutely.
Or begin to develop that muscle.
Absolutely. So there we go. That's what you guys got this Saturday on 420. A lot of y'all might be in the clouds right now. That's cool. So, I don't know. It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. Some of y'all might really be out here right now. Like they might be, woo, I'm out of here. So, but do you know what the beauty is? You can go to our YouTube channel and watch this later. Watch the clips, the shorts will have being released soon. You know, the edits today. I gotta go review the edits. And you know, how to reach us right here, YouTube, Facebook. What's up? Definitely LinkedIn. We got a LinkedIn crew. They checks us out every now and then. And put your post down. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That really supports the channel. You know, keeps us doing that. Keeps us doing these shows. That's what everybody says on their YouTube. So I figured I'd try it. You know, so subscribe down there. Hit the notification button when we drop some new videos. And hey, in 2 weeks, it'll be May. Can you believe that? It'll be, wait a minute.
Crazy.
It'll be the day before your birthday, I think. No, the day after your birthday, I believe.
I didn't know that day was coming up.
I think so. Wow. So you might be, I don't know where you might be. So I might be on the Dolo. Oh no, it's the day before. Yeah, it might be on the day.
I might slide in with the bucket hat and the shades. Son.
Yeah, I don't know where you might be. You know, so that's cool.
I don't know either.
Yeah, so we got that going on. So, but until then, thanks for watching. We'll check you out in 2 weeks. Peace.